Well, I want everybody to stand up, please. Thank you. I know that's hard for some of you. And at the end of the day, how do you feel? Tired, right? So I needed to wake you up a little bit. Thank you for standing. I have enjoyed visiting with so many of you already. I love it when we have a small group. In fact, if you would move in, that would make me really happy.
All right.
You guys can even maybe move in and up. Then we would be a little bit smaller. You can move if you want. It's entirely your choice. Since you're in the middle, that does help. So I appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you. I like having a small crowd because we can get to know each other a little bit better. I want you to, if you or someone you love has been affected by cancer, sit down. And I have to sit down. And what about heart disease? If you or someone you love, someone you know has been affected by heart disease. How about depression? You or someone that you know. All right, you guys are doing very well. You can sit down now. Thank you. Thanks for participating. For the rest of you, when do you feel like you just want to say, you know what, enough is enough, right? I grew up on a ranch. Has any of you seen a Mad Mama cow? No? Okay. I'm going to get a little bit graphic. I'll try to keep it really PG. If your cattle get out of the fence, you have to know it's yours, right? So you clip their ear, and everybody clips them a different way. And sometimes you don't want a bull. Enough said, right? So we had treated the calves, and we had missed one. Obviously, I grew up on a ranch, and we were out, checking the cows, and we picked up the calf and we put it in the back of the pickup, clip its ear, everything. Oh my goodness. That calf was so mad, and it was bawling, and I thought that Mad Mama cow was going to get in the back of the pickup and eat us. And that is, to me, that is the picture of determination. And I've got to visit with some of you already. That's what I see in you guys. Determination to get to the cause of the problem, right? So, instead of the cancer and the heart disease and the depression, wouldn't you rather age gracefully and beautifully, right? And feel strong, like a redwood tree. Has any of you ever been to the redwoods in California? Okay, those huge redwood trees, big and tall and strong, and you would like to age and feel like you have control over your health. And feel like you feel confident that you can age free from disease. Who would like to have that, right? Thank you for participating. I appreciate that. So if I could show you a way to accomplish that, would you be interested in hearing about it? Yeah, all right, very good. Linda, would you go move that camera? Because just move it over to the other side so that I can sit part of the time. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's trying to reconnect, it says.
Well, yeah, I don't know what to do about that.
Okay.
So, yes,
it will record?
It will.
Okay.
I don't know how, but it does.
All right.
Appreciate that.
It sees you.
So, I am Tammy Stewart. I'm a certified health coach. That's easy, right? I'm also a certified cellular detoxification specialist. I'm on a radio show twice a month. And the host has practiced so long getting to be able to say those words. So I am here because our son got sick. When he was in high school, he came to us and he said that he felt depressed. And I thought depression was an emotional problem, but I learned that it's physical. It can be emotional, of course, but it can be physical, and that's what his was. And I looked at his life, and I just thought it was kind of like somebody just sucked all the air out of the room, because I didn't understand how that could happen. And I became like that Mad Mama cow. I was committed. I became like a force of nature to find out what was causing his problem. We went to the doctor because that's all we knew to do, right? And what does the doctor do? Gives us medication. And he felt a little better, and we went back to the doctor, and the doctor does what? Increases the medication because that's the doctor's tool. That is his job. Most Americans want that. So I've got bad news for you tonight. The bad news is I do not have a quick fix, and I do not have a magic pill. I have a program that works every time when people do what we teach them to do, but it takes time. Healing, true healing can take time. So my son was on the medication, and I was just angry because I wanted to know what was causing the problem. Does the doctor answer that question for you? No, because that's not his job. So I became relentless to find the cause of the problem. In order to solve any problem, what do you have to do?
Research.
Yes, and find what? Find the root cause. Exactly. I believe 100% God designed your body to heal. Okay? And if you believe that, you are in the right place. When we remove the interference, God designed the body to heal. Our clients get better every single time when they do what we teach them to do. Now, we don't accept everybody into our program. Our program is challenging, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So we're real picky about who we accept. But so while I was working, figuring out how to solve the problem for my son, I discovered the 3 things that are causing most diseases in our country. Do you know that America is one of the sickest countries in the world? Is that outrageous? Again, I mean, enough is enough, right? That just makes me like that mad mama cow. And we have more degenerative disease in our country than almost any other country. And that's outrageous. Because who wants to live your whole life expecting to just get worse and worse and worse, right? So the solutions that we found for my son gave me a new purpose. I didn't grow up thinking, I didn't as a child think, I want to grow up and be a healthcare practitioner. That was the farthest thing from my mind. But I'm here because I'm completely committed to teaching you what you need to do to get better. And our program is custom. It's one-on-one because every one of you is different, right? And you are worth one-on-one attention. So tonight, I'm going to share with you those things that we discovered that caused our problem. And in fact, our whole family was experiencing health problems. Our oldest son was the one who had the biggest problem first. And so we're going to talk about what's causing the problem. And then at the end of the night, I will share with you some information and offer about how you can work with us so that we can teach you how to get better. Is that fair? Is that a good plan? Have you ever been to a talk similar to this and not taken action? Anybody? Okay. Have you ever purchased a gym membership and not participated? Right? Okay, that means it brings it real because I think everybody's done that. The gym membership works when? When you do it. Right. So tonight you're going to get lots of information. You're going to hear things you've never heard before. And it can transform your life when you choose to what? Use it when you choose to take action. So I appreciate all of you for participating. That's what I'm looking for, is participation. Because I know some of you are tired, so I want you to nod your head, raise your hand, just answer, speak out loud, especially because tonight we have a small crowd. So speak the answers out loud because I love that participation. That's going to put it in a different place in your brain. Take notes, not because you're going to go home tomorrow and read them, but because it's going to put it in a different place in your brain. It's going to keep you awake and help you participate and to absorb more of that information. So, when I look at those symptoms, and I think of our average client who has been to doctors. How many of you have been to a doctor to try to get help? How many of you are on thyroid medication? Okay, thank you for sharing. How many of you have been diagnosed with an autoimmune? You know, when I first started this, over 10 years ago, people didn't even know what autoimmune was. And I sent one of my friends to her doctor, and I said, you need to ask him to test you for autoimmune. They can do that test. Back then, her doctor said, no, I'm not going to do that test because, why do you think he said? in the medical model, it wasn't necessary, right? It was an unnecessary test. I need to know when my clients have that diagnosis because it will change what we do. And yet, those tests are really inaccurate. When they're positive, but you can have autoimmune, we think 20 or 30 years before the test is positive. The tests that we have available right now are very inadequate. So thank you for sharing about your situation. That helps me to know kind of what to talk about tonight, especially since we've got a small group. I can really customize that. So I can imagine your frustration at taking the medication and not feeling better, right? And then you try acupuncture. Who's tried that? Good, that can be a great thing. Who's tried chiropractic? Yes, that can be a great thing. How many of you have been on a diet? Of course you have, right? And when that doesn't work, do you just finally feel like so stinking frustrated and powerless and out of control over your own body, right? And clueless. And what did you tell me you finally decided? You're just gonna what?
Eat whatever I want.
Yeah, just eat what you want. That's perfectly reasonable. If the outcome is going to be the same, you might as well enjoy it, right? And we do include lots of different diets in our program. We are going to teach you that, and yet, how would you feel if it was working? Completely different, right? So when you've struggled with these conditions for a long, long time, you feel like you've been everywhere and done everything, that can leave you feeling hopeless and powerless and depressed, honestly. That's reasonable to feel depressed about that. I'm proud of you for being here because that tells me that you still have at least a little bit of hope left. And I can work with that every time. So are you ready to hear some science? All right? We're going to talk about thyroid. We're going to talk about autoimmune. Ready for that? Okay. I'm going to give you the answers before I teach the class. How's that? So, is anybody colorblind? Red, green? My son is, so I'm supposed to do red, green. Okay, I'm going to use blue. So, I hope the blue one will work. Yes, the blue one works. So, everybody needs to take out your pen, take out some paper, and start taking notes. I'm going to take you kind of back to high school biology class. However, I promise you I'm going to keep it super, super simple, like in layman's terms, because I understand layman's terms. So, let's talk about the first thing that can happen. The reason when your doctor may say your blood test is fine, therefore you're fine. Right? Has that happened to any of you? Your blood test is normal, and yet you've got this long list of symptoms. How does that make you feel? Crazy. Exactly. That's a word I had not used yet. Yes. Crazy. Of course you do. So let's think about, do you know which, and I am going to talk about thyroid first, but then I'm going to tie in autoimmune. So we're going to cover both of those, all right? Tell me again who's been diagnosed with autoimmune. Okay, and how many of you have had multiple autoimmune diagnoses? Okay. So which organ produces TSH? Exactly, the brain, the pituitary. And so TSH, not even your thyroid. Okay, so there's a connection there. So TSH is produced in the brain, it goes to the thyroid, tells the thyroid to produce. Does anybody know what the thyroid produces? T4. T4 comes down to the liver or to the gut, and it gets converted to T3. T3 is the active hormone. T3 is the what? Active hormone, very good. So let's think about thyroid symptoms. What do we think of? When your thyroid's not working, what kind of symptoms are you going to experience?
Sluggish.
Yes.
Hair falling out.
Hair falls out. What else? Brain fog. What else?
Dry skin.
Yes, dry skin, skin, hair, and nails. The first questionnaire that we send, before your first appointment with us, you're going to have like an hour of homework. One of the questionnaires I love, because the doctor who designed it didn't just say, do you have dry skin or your nails brittle? He connects it to thyroid. So in the questionnaire, you're going to start learning things. Your thyroid controls how your body uses proteins. Hair, skin, and nail are proteins. Is that cool? Did anybody just learn something? All right, yay, cool. So what else? T3 controls your what? Metabolism, exactly. Now, honestly, yeah, that's right. I can imagine that. And it controls your thermostat. right? And yet, if you have cold hands and feet, does it interfere with your life?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that, because I would have said no. Thank you for sharing. Tell me.
Yes, it's very uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's painful.
Okay.
And it makes you upset because people don't understand that what you're dealing with and
Got
what you're
it.
feeling.
Got it.
If I'm wrapped up, I
Yeah.
carry gloves and jackets
Yeah.
with me.
Okay.
You know, people say
Thank
it's
you.
not that cold, and it's like, I know my body
Yeah.
and what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I'm not dreaming this up. I'm
Yeah.
not crazy, right? And she was agreeing with everything you said.
Yeah.
That makes you feel better,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now that you say that, my mother said the same things to me. She's always been cold. And one time she said, it hurts my feelings because people they treat me like I don't matter. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. So your thyroid controls your metabolism and your thermostat and your hair, skin, and nails, and your mood and your brain, and it controls all of the hormones in your body. So it converts, T4 converts to T3 in your liver. What does the liver do? Detox. How many toxins are we exposed to now compared to a few generations ago? Countless more, right? So what condition do you think your liver might be in? Overworked, absolutely. Does your doctor talk to you when he's examining your thyroid? Does he talk to you about your liver? Okay, interesting. Most of them don't, and that's the first blood test that I want to see from you, is your liver enzymes. So, number one, the problem could be a liver problem, not even a thyroid problem. It could be a gut problem. We're going to talk about more about gut in a second. Number two, this is really high school biology. I'm going to ask you kind of a tricky question. I thought it was a simple question until last week someone couldn't answer it. Which of your organs is made up of cells? Every single one of them, you're right. Every single one of them. Most of the questions I ask are going to be like really simple questions to answer. So just give me the easy answer. That's usually right. So every organ is made up of cells. Every cell has 2 layers of fat on the outside of it. Do you want that to be good fat or bad fat? Good fat, exactly. And that's one of the things that we teach in our diet. Good fat is the #1 most lacking ingredient in the standard American diet. Now, what have we been told about fat for the past, 40 years?
It's very good.
Fat's bad. So if you just had if you could do only one thing, and you did the opposite of what the media tells you, you would be better off. So you eat a lot of healthy fat. 2 layers of fat on the outside of the cell. You also have countless receptors for all of your hormones and your nutrients. So think about when you're talking on your cell phone and you drop the call. Was your cell phone a piece of trash? No. You just lost reception, right? It was all about the reception. In your cell, when your cell is inflamed, those receptors get burned out. It's a reception problem. It's not a hormone problem. So when you go to your doctor and he says your blood tests are normal, well, we run different blood tests. We use different ranges. I'm looking for optimal function. Isn't that what you want in your body? Optimal function? Your doctor's looking to diagnose what? Yeah, he has a different job than I do. I'm running different tests, different ranges. So, so you can have a perfectly adequate level of hormone, but it might not be working because of the inflammation. If this is your T3 receptor, did a light bulb just go off for some of you? An aha moment? Let's talk about inflammation for a second. If you cut your finger, it gets red and inflamed, right? How does it feel? It feels painful. Do you want to use it? No. And a few days later, how does it feel?
Still a little sore.
It's still a little sore. It's getting better, right? And then you can start using it. So when your cell is inflamed, the hormones can't work. The hormones get blunted. Does any of you know someone with a blood sugar problem? Anybody? Okay. What if this is your insulin receptor? So when you eat food, I'm going to ask a stupid question. When you eat food, what's the first hormone that goes up? And it's not insulin. It's glucose. Very good. So you eat food, your glucose goes up. Glucose tells insulin to open the door to let the glucose get into the cell so that in the mitochondria you can create ATP energy. That's the energy of life, not the energy to run a race. If your insulin receptors burned out, what's going to happen to your glucose? It's going to keep going up and up and up. Because what was the problem? The cellular what? Inflammation. Is the problem what you're eating? No. Has anybody tried going on a really low carb, no sugar diet and your glucose still goes up? All right, now you understand why. How does that feel? That feels good, doesn't it? To understand the problem. I've got this cute little visual that I usually forget to use. So that's like your cell. All of those receptors. And then when you get all inflamed, your receptors can't work. Which hormones is that going to affect? All of them. Exactly. See, it was a stupid question, wasn't it? Easy to answer. Affect all of your hormones. Let's go to number 3. So that was number 2. The problem is cellular inflammation. This is what we do that's different. Has any of you heard of cellular inflammation? Studied it? Yes, one of you. I do find that more often about the past year. Until then, nobody had heard of cellular inflammation. So number 3, I'm going to ask you some stupid questions. When you have the flu, what do you feel like doing? Nothing. Exactly right. That's what you're supposed to do. That was my next question. You're like reading my mind. You're supposed to rest so that your body can spend its energy healing, right? And then a few days later, a week later, how do you feel? Better. So here's what happens. Remember, T3 is the what? Active hormone. So it controls your metabolism, your energy. When your body wants to stop that energy, it produces RT3. That's reverse T3. That's important. Write that down. RT3. That is a blood test that I want to see. That's the second one I want to see.
Is reverse one, is that?
Reverse T3. RT3. So here's what's supposed to happen. You get the flu, your RT3 goes high. And your body kills the flu germ, and the RT3 goes back down to normal. That's what's supposed to happen. What if your RT3 is high all the time? What's going to happen to your T3? It's not going to work, right? RT3 is blocking T3. Is thyroid medication going to solve that problem? No. Now you understand why you're taking medication and you still have all those symptoms, right? How does that feel? Yeah, frustrating. So RT3 is caused by stressors. There are 3 kinds of stressors. I want you to write this down. 3 stressors. Number 1, physical. In our flu example, that was a physical stressor, right? Physical stressor. Number 2, chemical. That's my specialty. My specialty is very, very narrow and very deep. Cellular toxicity is a fairly new field in terms of healthcare. And we go to multiple seminars every year to learn the newest things, the newest things that I can do to help my clients get better faster, because that's when you want to get better, right? As fast as possible. So, number 1, physical. Number 2, chemical. Number 3, emotional. You ever had an emotional stress and you just felt wiped out? That's your body saying, calm down. Take some time, heal your heart. So 3 stressors can cause RT3 to go high all the time. So far, which of these things is going to be solved by taking thyroid medication? None of them, right? The thyroid medication is not going to solve that. How long does your doctor say you're going to have to take thyroid medication? Yeah. Good for you. So, number 4 is autoimmune. So again, I'm going to ask you some stupid questions. When you eat food, where does it go? In your stomach. And what's supposed to happen in your stomach? Yeah, it gets all broken down into the individual nutrients, right? And those nutrients get into your bloodstream, and your blood carries those nutrients all over the body. So what's supposed to happen is in your gut, you're supposed to have really, really tight junctions. So the only thing that can get through the wall of the gut is the individual nutrients. What if you have inflammation in your gut? that affects a hormone called zonulin. So this is, again, it's all about a hormone problem. You guys are writing it down. A+, you're great students. You're brilliant. So when you have inflammation, the wall of your gut can get loose junctions. We call it leaky gut, right? So then you get big chunks of food get across the wall of the gut into the bloodstream. Does the body think that's normal? No! What do you think the body is going to then attack?
Your own body.
Well, let's think about it again. That was a trick question. I didn't warn you. Sorry. Okay, so you get a big chunk of food into your bloodstream. What's the body going to attack? The food, exactly. The foreign invader. We are going to bring that back to thyroid in just a second. So your body is attacking the foreign invader. Now remember when I said if you just listened to the media and you did the opposite, you'd be better off? So the media says, what did you just say? The media says autoimmune is your body doing what? Attacking your thyroid, attacking itself, right? The body attacking itself. So I'm going to argue with that. I propose to you that your body is too smart to do that. Okay? Are you open to that? So in that example, the body's attacking the foreign invader, the chunk of food in the bloodstream. Your body is doing the best it can under the circumstances. So let's think about thyroid, all right? In your thyroid, you have to have iodine to create thyroid hormone. Now, let me take a commercial break here. Please do not go to the grocery store and buy iodine and start taking iodine tomorrow. Has anybody been through an iodine storm? Anybody?
I bought some, but I never,
Yeah, don't use it.
I never got on it.
Thank you.
Oh,
Good. Don't use it.
doing that too.
Yeah, there's a right time and a wrong. You do have to have iodine. There's a right kind and a wrong kind. There's a right time and a wrong time. So my clients take iodine. Usually we get there about month 4 or 5. We work with our clients in programs of several months. So, so what if there's a molecule of mercury sitting on your iodine receptor? Does the body think that's normal? Are you supposed to be eating mercury? No. So what might the body attack? The mercury, exactly, the foreign invader. What if this is your selenium receptor? You have to have selenium, right, to have thyroid hormones. What if there's a molecule of lead sitting on your selenium receptor? At that point, you can take the story and go on and on and on, can't you? So all of those autoimmune conditions have the same cause, the foreign invader. Let's think about the cellular inflammation. I'm going to come back to inflammation. There are 3 causes of inflammation. I want you to write this down. Number 1, sugars. Do you know how long it takes grains to turn to sugar in your body?
Not long.
Yeah, you're right. 4 seconds. So grains are sugar. So number 1, sugars. Number 2, bad fats. The media says canola oil is good. But what's the 180-degree solution? Canola oil is very bad. Do not eat canola oil. So number 1, sugars and grains. Number 2, bad fats. Number 3, toxins. Toxins cause the cellular inflammation. The inflammation in the gut causes autoimmune conditions. The inflammation blocks the hormone receptors. The problem, the root cause of the problem is the inflammation, right? In order to solve any problem, we have to remove the cause, right? So, if you'll look in that packet, that second piece of paper with the pretty colors on it, this is what we do different in our program. We address cellular toxicity. It's not a 21-day cleanse, it's not a blood cleanse or a liver cleanse, it's not a little box from the health food store. It is cellular inflammation, cellular toxicity, specifically toxins in the brain. What's another word for toxin? Poison, exactly. So, so let's come back to autoimmune. Autoimmune is the body attacking a foreign invader because the immune system is completely dysfunctional. When I was, all my life, I had allergy problems. And I don't mean I had allergy seasons twice a year. I had allergies all year long. It was horrible. It was life altering. When I got my final amalgam filling removed, it was September 1st. So to get amalgam fillings removed correctly, you have to do one side of the face separately and wait 4 days or 5 days, and then do the other side. I think I waited 10 days in between appointments. So end of August, I got half of my amalgams removed. Allergy season started, right? End of August in Texas, I was getting miserable. Got the rest of my amalgams removed. Those symptoms went away immediately. Immediately. Is that outrageous? That's the power of healing in the body when you remove the interference. So, is everybody with me on this so far? We've got 4. Whoops, what happened to my...
I think it timed out.
That's funny. Okay, so the 4 reasons that your medication might not be working, or that your doctor may say, oh, your blood test